Good evening, AndreasG here, and I'm back with yet another ranked 1v1 cast. The summer seems to be on vacation over here in Norway, so no better time to do casts than this. This is a real treat for you, I've been told. Thank you sending in this replay, Neon. This game is between AdmiralGeneral and KillerKiwi on the map Backbone. It's a naval island map that was in last season, but say is back again in this season. And before we head into the game, just a reminder that it's over $4,000 in cash prizes this season, so you should really give it a try. And leaving your links in the description, so head over there and read up and jump into ranked. It's cash prizes in all tiers. But first, and mainly, let's jump into this game, yeah? Here we go. The map is as follows. Players spawn in on these two places, and you see this lava map is covered in naval, and then we got these islands over here, and this area here, it seems to be bugging out. There's actually mexes over here. Hope there's not any more chrono cam bugs than that, but here is supposed to be 4 mexes, I believe. And essentially the players fight over control of the planet here. This system actually also includes a gas giant, so make of that what you want. What you usually see on this system nowadays, what's the meta, is essentially one naval factory into a lot of air, then rushing tier 2 air, because the Kestrels can actually shoot subs nowadays for some weird reason. Hope that gets patched out soon, because naval games is mostly just about spamming tier 2 air nowadays and rush that up fast. It's gonna be interesting to see the players approach this game. We can talk a little bit about the players. KillerKiwi, certainly a good player, a long-time player who's recently returned to the ranked season to fight for the cash prizes. He is currently in this season number 3, so a very capable player, top tier Uber, possibly a challenger for number 1 Uber. I'd certainly say he is. And AdmiralGeneral, under the name Make Kestrel's Great Again this time. He's currently number 8 Uber. It's very close in that area. Not many points up to, let's say, 4th place. A really strong player as well, and the season is still young, so lots of things can change. And as you saw in last game, he's very capable of playing good games. As we see the players spawn in, KillerKiwi here in this dirt brown over here is opening up with naval factory, going into what looks to be mexes at least. Hasn't queued up too much yet, but yeah, there it is. And on the other side, we have AdmiralGeneral spawning in his usual grey-white color, opening naval factory as well, assisting out that first fabric, get it out quite fast, while KillerKiwi deciding to go for the early piranha. So we're gonna try and look for those fabbers from Admiral. So if he opens, let's say, 3-4 fabbers, there's a good chance this piranha will do well, and Admiral won't be able to defend them all. So I am expecting his second tier to a second air factory from Kiwi maybe, so he can get scouts out to see where he's going to send his piranhas and possibly be very effective. We see Admiral going a very heavy fabber opening, so the piranhas is going to do great in that regard. What? 5 fabber opening in naval? Well, you don't see this often at all. This is very curious indeed, and I reckon it's going to crash massively in terms of eco. Let's see what his build queue is. So he hasn't much of a build queue, to be honest. These piranhas should surely come in soon enough. They're walking all the way around here, and no actual fighting units out for Admiral. And here we see the air factory from Kiwi. It's going to scout all of this and possibly, hopefully, respond properly with spamming these gunboats, these piranhas, and push them in. In comes the piranha. Are they going to be able to pick off these 2 naval fabs? It will be a big victory for Kiwi to be able to stop or delay this expansion right here. But the torpedo launcher is coming up fast, and it's going to be up in time. Fabbers are safe for now. Are we going to see any bombers out from Kiwi? He should be able to scout that. Admiral does not have any air, and he has. And we don't see any bombers or any air fabbers. That's the thing too. Kiwi could really get air fabbers and grab the islands in the meantime. But we don't see him do that at the moment. It's just building fighters, which are going to be useless. So I'd like to see him adapt at this stage. Admiral's very bold start with all these fabbers really panning out, and that even without any air. So his real weakness right now is air for sure. Ooh, and we see a orbital factory queued up, a second factory. Wow, that's a really bold move by AdmiralGeneral. He's probably going to go for this gas giant and try and get hold of that crazy eco over there. Wow. Apologies for the coughing. Got a lung infection that's bothering me a little bit, but hopefully not going to be an issue. But anyways, that is massive. Out comes the bombers from Kiwi. Finally, he's going to pick off fabbers all around the map. But Admiral's got his core metal, essentially. And he's going to push into... He's turtling up with torpedo launchers. His base is sort of safe. An anti-air. And then he's going for the... Wow. Now he's going for the orbital factory, queuing up mines around the place. He's really going to turtle up, isn't he? And as if that wasn't enough, his commander is walking over to the island, going to secure some exits, and who knows, maybe push over at this side. I'd like to see him build maybe proxy factories over here to really put some pressure on Kiwi, diverting from his base while Kiwi's building piranhas, trying to pick off early fabbers. AdmiralGeneral isn't sending out any fabbers. They're turtling up, and this air too is starting to look quite ineffective, to be honest, because you got anti-air just everywhere. But here's the big question. Has Kiwi scouted AdmiralGeneral's orbital? He has. He knows what's going on. He should know, at least. How is he going to respond? That's a really tricky thing. Is he going to try and push in on this main planet? Or is he going orbital himself to challenge it? I don't know. It will be interesting to follow that for sure. And out comes the first orbital fabber from AdmiralGeneral. It's going to be sent right off the gas, I reckon. And there it goes. It's a bit long time to travel? No, it's really short time. It's going to start working at that eco shortly. And now the clock is ticking for Kiwi. He needs to respond in some way. He either needs to win this planet, or do some real damage and get control of this planet, or he needs to challenge orbital. He cannot let that thing grow out of control. It will take a while, but then when it gets rolling, what can he do really, right? And we see the economy is sort of similar. Army tab is massively different, like it should be. But then again, a lot of Kiwi's units is in the air. And this Gelato turret should completely work against that for now. So Kiwi going for a very meta build. AdmiralGeneral cheesing his way. And I don't know, this might pan out. It's going to be interesting for sure. I really like this play. And we see Kiwi going for the meta, rushing a tier 2 air factory. Going to get those kestrels. But here's the thing. Admiral could just really turtle up with anti-air defenses and make those kestrels kind of useless. We see his eco crashing big though, and that's because these fabbers are working hard at the jigs soon. It's just an anchor for now. That's the thing with orbital. It's so expensive. This is going to crush his economy massively, but when he gets it open, it's going to pay for itself, and then the ball is rolling. So now he's vulnerable for a little bit, and Kiwi could respond, you know, but he doesn't seem to be pushing into orbital quite yet. Now we see Admiral grabbing this island, securing him a nice metal count, and essentially with that, he's not that far ahead in the main planet either, only in terms of energy, but one jig is all he needs to really get that up and going. And the bombers are hovering over, trying to take out Admiral's expansion, but what can he do about these mines? Does he have any? He does not have any of those naval fabbers, naval combat fabbers himself, so he shouldn't be able to spot these mines at all. So this strait is completely secured for now. In comes the raiding party though. Should not be able to do too much against these torpedo launchers. But here's the big question, and we're going to have to follow that in a picture-of-picture. Admiral's economy going up in gas. That is just... Look at that. One jig open, 15k energy. Honestly, those jigs are just broken in terms of energy production. 9,000 energy for one jig. That is ridiculous. That is something that definitely needs patching. And 36 metal. So it's Admiral already equal to that of Kiwi in terms of economy. And his commander is pushing over to the lake, building torpedo launchers. I really like this. He's going to build factories. Is he going to be able to put pressure on Kiwi? Kiwi finally answering to this orbital presence of Admiral. He's going to have to start contesting the jigs for sure, or maybe get up some jigs of his own. So this game is properly going orbital. We see a naval game here, properly going into the orbital phase. And you might call it a bit of a cheese, but hey, it's working really well. This is a viable build, for sure. I've seen Metapod do similar things, or heard, I should say, to great effect. But I've never seen any games of this caliber panning out like this. And Admiral going into the tier 2 area himself, that is potentially a big issue for Kiwi, who should not be as prepared for tier 2 air as Admiral is. Because Admiral is turtling up with anti-air and so on and so forth, while Kiwi is not really turtling up. Is he? He's pushing out, building units. Out comes the bombers going for the anti-air. This is a bad trade, but he's hovering over, and it works out for him. Cheesy micro right there, but using the game to its effect. And that. But look at the economy. Look at AdmiralGeneral. Doesn't need any energy, no more. That is just skyrocketing, and the metal's ahead. But here's the question: does Kiwi have any presence here yet? No, he has not. He's building up his army at this planet. AdmiralGeneral struggling to get this proxy base up, but Pelter is going to clean up this torpedo launcher, and the Factorist arrives. So he is properly building a proxy base over here, but out comes the tier 2 naval from Kiwi. This is potentially a big issue for this commander. Out vulnerable and everything. If Kiwi could clear this position, clear these torpedo launchers, this commander is potentially completely naked. Kiwi grabbing control of the other island. But here's the thing too, Admiral is kind of weak to, and that's drifters. You see all these expansions out here, they're protected against naval and air, but not against drifting units. So I'd like to see Kiwi use that to great effect. And the tier 2 air is open for is up for Admiral. Is not yet up for Kiwi. So we actually have AdmiralGeneral moving into tier 2 air before Kiwi, which is a great surprise to me, because Kiwi is starting that way ahead of Admiral. But that we see that Jake's just really giving him the eco he needs, and he doesn't have a lot of other factories. So honestly, this Fabbers, you see the fabric count of AdmiralGeneral, 29 Fabbers. He can just boost out things essentially. And I'd like to see him rapidly expand this jig production, as he got, I don't know how many orbits of fab he got, only 2. He could get more at this stage, probably. Look at that eco. He's using a lot of his economy, he's going down like crazy with all his Fabbers, assisting out tier 2 air. So what is he gonna do with it? Is he gonna start building Kestrels soon? Is he gonna be able to raid Kiwi effectively with those Kestrels? Have Kiwi scouted this tier 2 air factory? No, he has not. He thinks he got the upper hand in terms of air. What has Admiral scouted of Kiwi? Not much at all. He knows there's a tier 2 naval factory going up. He knows his orbital presence, and that's about it. The tier 2 naval coming up for Admiral at the front line, and it's coming up really fast. Wow! It's actually mirroring that of Kiwi, and we got a proper Leviathan battle right here. Wow, this is very interesting indeed. Who is going to take this one? Who got the Leviathan coming out first? And who's going to target with the greatest effect? It seems like Kiwi got it out first, for sure. But Admiral's not far behind. So if targeting is on point, that would be big. In comes the air army. He's going to back off. Admiral got a big air army himself. Kiwi locking down great parts of the map. It's going to be big for him. AdmiralGeneral is really going to struggle. This now comes the Leviathan. It's starting to shoot at the tier 2 factory of AdmiralGeneral. And this commander is out here. Commander is really vulnerable. If he's not careful right now, AdmiralGeneral will lose his commander, and without the game, Leviathan is standing at range. Very nicely done indeed by KillerKiwi, making it ineffective to assist this tier 2 factory for AdmiralGeneral. Is trying to leave it. Is he just leaving the tier 2 factory? It seems like he's giving up. Turtle creep coming up from KillerKiwi, spamming torpedo launcher close and close to this proxy base. Commander gotta be careful here. If he's in the water, the torpedoes can hit him. If he's on the land, the Leviathan can hit him. But he's trying to bail out. The tier 2 factory is going down for sure. The Leviathan didn't come out, did it? Or he got shot right away. And all this torpedo launcher is going to be quite ineffective against the Leviathan at range. Down goes the tier 2 factory. It's a big victory for KillerKiwi. And Admiral is forced to abandon this position. Wow. That was a close one. If AdmiralGeneral would have been a little bit faster with that tier 2 factory and with the Leviathan, maybe we would be in a position with KillerKiwi dead already. I really like this offensive push by AdmiralGeneral, but it might come back to bite him in the ass right now as his commander's out of position. And this Pelters does not really reach the Leviathan that's getting scarily closer. This is a mistake. They're moving in with the Leviathan. KillerKiwi really got to back off here as the Pelter is starting to shoot at the Leviathan, or they could do so. Out come the torpedoes too. This Leviathan is going to go down, but out comes another one. But still, this is a poor micro indeed. And Commander's running off. In the meantime, Kestrel's out for AdmiralGeneral, clearing out the map from KillerKiwi. AdmiralGeneral 100 mexes ahead, and look at that energy. This is what I'm talking about. The jig's absolutely ridiculous. We got this orbital unit from the orbital factory called the Solar Array, which should be the orbital unit capable of producing energy. So if you go in gas giant, you should have a factory and produce solar arrays too in the orbital space. But nah, this ridiculous jig thing is just completely ruining that. But enough about me complaining about balance things. AdmiralGeneral is raiding around the map to great effect with his Kestrels, but he lost this offensive position and is not producing much at all in his tier 2 naval factory that Kiwi does have. But then again, look at that economy difference with this effective raiding coming out from AdmiralGeneral. He's over double ahead of KillerKiwi. Can he use this eco advantage to pocket the game? We'll have to wait and see. KillerKiwi getting up a orbital presence of himself. This is poor from AdmiralGeneral. Should be able to pay attention to that and spot that. He had the Avengers to challenge it swiftly, but he's too late now with anchor up. So now both players taking advantage of that nasty gas eco. And KillerKiwi, he can ramp up production there. He might be able to get back into the eco game for sure. But out comes AdmiralGeneral's air army. Is raiding here, and you got another vulnerable position right here. So KillerKiwi in some trouble due to this tier 2 air. It's rendering his naval completely useless. What he really needs is just anti-air and Galata turrets and so on. This position is falling. Down goes the factory in Mexis. And look at that eco. AdmiralGeneral even further ahead. And fabric count tells a story. But here you have a position completely locked down, more or less, by KillerKiwi in here too. So it's not that far off the base. And with the proper units in here, Admiral doesn't have much in terms of defense. So it's not a close deal yet. And AdmiralGeneral's commander is still quite vulnerable. Trying to get a production now. Finally, some naval production to challenge this planet for sure. As Kiwi's the one who's looking rather scary in terms of units. But he's not that far ahead either. He's kind of this eco, isn't it? And we got a Titan in production from No, are you stopping it? Don't stop that. I want to see this Titan. Oh, 6% Ares. A Titan is a very fine option indeed for AdmiralGeneral. No, and here comes a Zeus instead. We are in for a treat. I don't know how much this Zeus is going to be able to. There's a lot of anti-air around the map, but Zeus is really strong indeed. So, what is this 1v1? We have AdmiralGeneral rushing orbital, pushing over to a proxy base right outside of Kiwi's factory, turtling in this main base, and getting eco up and gas, and now rushing a Titan. This is some crazy strategies from AdmiralGeneral, and I love it. I really love it. It's great to see unconventional play. We sadly don't see enough of it nowadays because the ranked maps are not accessible outside of ranked. So you have a situation where every time you play it, it's in a situation where you have to win. At least if you're going for a good rank. So people don't dare to experiment as much as they would otherwise, which is a shame. So you have sort of this situation where everybody converges on one way to play a map because it's the best. It's the first good way that people find out about the map essentially, and people don't dare challenging that too much. And then you have a situation where people don't dare experimenting, and you just see the same shit over and over again. When there's plenty of fun things you could potentially do on a map if you just have the time to experiment with it, but you can't do that if you lose 100 points experimenting. But then again, so I like to see them accessible everywhere. But enough about that. A Angel is coming out from AdmiralGeneral. How often do you see an Angel being used? I think this thing costs like 9,000 metal. You probably get another Zeus instead of going Angels. But then again, it might render the anti-air from KillerKiwi completely useless, as I don't see any flak around here. But out comes the army of Leviathans for KillerKiwi, supported by some anti-air. I mean, if he has a decent amount of Kestrels, which he doesn't, this should be easy to take down. Then again, what does he have? He does have a Zeus. But what's good for us now is KillerKiwi is sort of catching up in economy. That's really good for this game, for the longevity of this game, because we do want a long and even fight right here, don't we? And KillerKiwi getting up the jigs as well. Building his... what is it? He's built 4 jigs. Building his 5th there. AdmiralGeneral got... I don't know how many is this. That's one of 12. So a proper advantage to AdmiralGeneral, but Kiwi's catching up, and he got the most on this planet. So 2 angels out for AdmiralGeneral. You really don't want to just sit it here. You want to move it to the air army for sure. Because what else are they doing really? We see the mines coming out from great effect. Have even Kiwi realized there's mounts around? I'm not sure because we don't see any counter to it from Kiwi. But here it comes, the Zeus. The Zeus is here. What is he going to be able to do? Loses a lot of air to the Scalata. Sees there's a lot of defenses there. Zeus is moving in different direction. The commander is just covered in end terrors. It's going to be really hard to get a snipe off here. But let's see what he's trying. He's getting shot by the Galata. It's going to move around. Where is Kiwi's air force? It's completely gone. Probably an engagement we didn't see. Didn't catch. Zeus is moving around. Moving over to the main base. Could potentially take out a lot of things here. Or move around the map. Like everything is potentially open for grabs except from what's covered in entire like this. Flags out from KillerKiwi. But why on earth aren't all these angels that AdmiralGeneral has built supporting this Zeus? Like what the crap? There's 5-6 angels over there. It's like 50,000 metal worth of angels that could have completely rendered all this entire useless potentially and gotten him with the snipe. But they're just sitting back, aren't they? And finally they're moving. We might be a bit late as Kiwi's answering to all of this. We see the eco is properly balanced right here. Right now, Kiwi just 100 metal behind AdmiralGeneral, and in comes some Leviathans. What can these Leviathans do? That's a great question indeed. Oh, and look at all these Barracudas. 32 Barracudas moving out. And when Kiwi doesn't have anything in terms of air to defend against this is a really strong push indeed. And I'm curious to see what kind of damage they can do. The Barracudas, the best counter to them is Kestrels indeed. But we see the advantage in the air to AdmiralGeneral. Ooh, and they just cannot shoot down the Narval shots. That's interesting. It's a really weird thing. When we see a fight here with the angels. This is a bad fight for Kiwi, and in he comes with the angels over the entire. Is he targeting the entire? The angels are still alive. They're keeping it alive. You gotta target the entire. You gotta target the Narvals. Because they are not effective for some reason. It targets the commander. But down goes the Zeus. Surely. It's taken down, and the commander is low, and the Zeus falls. It's gonna hit the commander. The commander is down at 20% health, but he survives, and the Zeus is dead. And in comes all the Orcus, the Barracudas, excuse me. What kind of damage can they do? They gotta target down the torpedo launchers. Torpedo launchers, 3 of them in this base right here. If you can target them down effectively, you could potentially shoot everything here down. One goes down. But he does not target the other ones. He shoots the factory instead. Oh no, AdmiralGeneral, you gotta pay attention right here. You gotta shoot down the torpedo launchers, and then you can clear out this entire area. But no, he goes for the orbital factory. And Leviathan, and these Barracudas, they gotta shoot down the torpedo launchers now. Come on. But they don't seem to do so. And because of it, this attack is rendered useless. It took down some factories, however, and the orbital factory. But this is recoverable from KillerKiwi. It's actually ahead in terms of economy right now, which is a crazy development, as we saw AdmiralGeneral almost 3 times ahead in terms of economy. And a nuke is being built by AdmiralGeneral. This is the great game indeed of all the super weapons. But here's an army of Leviathans. They could shoot down this nuke, but it's coming up really fast. 60%. Admiral's putting everything he got into this nuke right here, and Leviathan is starting to chip at it. Has he spotted the nuke? He's not spotted the nuke. He needs to spot this nuke right now, as his commander's at 20%. This nuke will finish him for sure. Do AdmiralGeneral know where's exactly where his commander is? And the nuke is low. He's down at... The launch is down at 50%. Not the Fabris is assisting it instead. This Leviathans. Have they spotted the nuke? Not spotted the nuke yet, and they're just filing blindly. KillerKiwi needs intel on this nuke right now, and they need to assist it. But the nuke is going up slowly. 83%. This is the battle we really have to follow at. There's not much else happening around the planet. Out comes the Air Force's KillerKiwi. It's going to spot this nuke. This nuke is assisted back to full health. 9900. Nuke is finished. Is he going to fire? And the nuke is out. And now KillerKiwi spots it. But where's the nuke going? Has he spotted the commander? Does he know where to hit? I can only imagine what goes through Kiwi's head right now. It's heading right towards his base. Is AdmiralGeneral going to get Kiwi with this nuke? Otherwise, I don't see exactly how he's going to make it. KillerKiwi is really getting an advantage here. And the nuke is flying towards space. It's close to the commander. Is it flying down? Is it gonna hit? And it hits! GG! And while KillerKiwi is killing AdmiralGeneral's base, he gets barely nuked. Wow. What a game. And great to see strategies unconventional coming out from AdmiralGeneral. And it pays off. Wow. Finish it with the nuke. But this army right here with the Leviathans could have easily been countered by Barracudas. So there's definitely a misplay from AdmiralGeneral. He had a massive Barracuda production line over here at the shore. With some of those in the right position, he could have completely decimated that army. Instead, we had this nail-biting fight against the clock. And let's see how this felt for Kiwi when we finally scouted it. I think he scouted it too late. Let's see here. In comes there. And there he sees it, and it's off. So just seconds too late. This game could have gone either way. But congratulations to AdmiralGeneral who takes this one. And well played to both players. KillerKiwi responding finally to this orbital play from AdmiralGeneral. Getting some for himself. Possibly even more by the end. And you just turn into a really interesting super weapon game. Ooh. What a great game indeed. I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. Until next time, I'm AndreasG. Have a wonderful summer. I hope you got better weather than me.